Hello, this is the Cobra M40SPCVX, which is a 16-inch self-propelled rotary mower. Great for cutting sort of medium-sized lawns, and this is how it arrives with you when you buy it in this strong cardboard box. So what we're going to do is take it out of the box, get everything out, and then I'll show you exactly how easy and fast it is to put together so you can start mowing your lawn. Here it is then, all unpacked on the table. There is a little bit of assembly, it doesn't take long, it's only a matter of minutes really. So we do have to assemble the handlebar construction. Everything you need is here to do it. So we've got, these are for the handlebars here, we've got the two cable clips, we've got the oil for the engine, the manual that tells you everything you need to know about this mower. That's for the spark plug should you need to take it out, some nuts and bolts and a screw there. The only thing you do need is you will need a crosshead screwdriver and a spanner, and this is a 13mm spanner, which will become evident in a minute. So we're going to assemble the grass collection box. So this is what collects the grass when you're mowing, but it needs a handle fitting onto it, and this is the handle here. And literally it just slots in like that, and then that, with just a little bit of pressure, clicks into the top, but we need to secure that with a screw. So hence the small screw here, which goes in underneath. It's difficult to see inside there, but we're just going to screw it up through the hole that's already there into the handle. So just screw that in so it's nice and tight, and then it can't possibly come off. So that's nice and tight now, that's not going to go anywhere. So that's the handle on the grass collection. I'm going to put that there because I need a bit of room now to work on the mower here. So handlebar is in two parts. It enables it to fold, and we just need to start off with the back piece. So this piece here with the levers on the top we're going to do second. So we're going to start with this piece here, which lines up with the holes on the frame here. So it's very simple to do. So we've got here some bolts. One end is with an Allen key, the other is a self-locking 13mm. So that just slides through like that, and then we're just going to get our fingers in there and just put that on like that. So we've got this side in loose, and then what I'm going to do, because of where the petrol tank is, we just need to lift that over it so that it makes it free, and then the bolt can go on. You can then let the weight go down and put the nut on like that, and then all we need to do with those is to tighten them up. So it's the Allen key in the back, and in fact I'm going to hold it, I think, with the spanner. I think that might be the easiest way to do it, and we just then can tighten that. I've got it part way, now I'm going to stop it because there's more leverage if you use the spanner. So I'm just going to twist it round like that so that that is nice and tight, and these are locking nuts so they're not going to vibrate off. And then if we could do the same on this side here, so we just get the Allen key in there, and then we can just tighten that on like that. So nice and tight so it won't wobble. So that's on nice and tight. So now we can attach the top part of the handlebar. So we need these for this. So what I'm going to do is strip them down to start with. So we've got the red plastic handle, and then we've got the bolt and the washer. So we need one on each side. Now for this piece you might just need somebody to actually hold it into place for you. So I'm going to ask Gareth if he can just hold that up for me. And what we need to do as well at this point, we need to make sure that the wires, the cables here, aren't on the outside, they're in between the handlebars like this. So I'll do this side first. So can that just slide up there? So the bolt goes from the inside out, and we just twist it because it's got a curve that fits around the curve of the handle. Then the washer goes on, and then the handle, and that just screws on through the hole in the center, and we want it so that when it locks down, it holds it in place. So we've just got to adjust it, because the idea is that locks that into place and it holds it solid. So thank you, Gareth, I can manage this one now. So again, it's just a repeat. So the bolt goes through there, just give it a bit of a twist to make sure that it fits around like that, the washer, and then we can get the red handle and just twist that onto there like that. Just give it a twist. Okay, so again, get it to where you think, and that is a little bit loose, so I'm just going to twist it one more. It's got to have a bit of a bite on it when you do it, and that you can see now holds that nice and tight. So that is assembled there, and then the whole handlebar will then fold back. Make sure you don't trap any cables. Now you'll notice here we've got these other little red levers. These need to be twisted that way, because that allows us then to put it down into position. We've got 3 holes, so we can line it up to get it to the height that you want. So you can adjust the height of the handlebars. If you're tall, you want it at the top. If you're small, you can lower it down. I'm going to go midway, and then that will lock back into position with that quarter twist. So that is nice and firm in place like that. So that's that now in place. We can put the cable clips on 2 of these, so they just simply clip on with the cable in there. That just stops them flapping around. They won't get damaged, so that one goes on just there like that. And the other thing, of course, with these handles that you can release, it means that for storage you can very easily fold that down to put it in a shed or a garage like that. Always make sure that you don't trap the cables when you're putting it back together. So I've just slackened that off, put that into place, and that one will lock, and there it is. So that's all assembled. So what I need to do now is get some petrol in it and oil, then we can do some mowing. So we're going to start with the oil here. So we just take the dipstick out. This is just there, so to remind you what it is. So dipstick there. You might, when you take it out, think, oh, there's actually oil on there. There is a little bit of oil on it. That's because all the engines are tested in the factory, so there is often just a residue of the oil in there. So I'm just going to wipe that. The oil here is supplied. I've got my funnel to put it in. This engine takes 400 millilitres, 0.4 of a litre. The bottle of oil that they give you is 0.6, so don't make the mistake of putting all this in, because that will potentially damage the engine. And bear in mind there might be a little bit of oil in there as well. So what I like to do, it's got graduations on there, 1 to 6, and they transfer across to this side here where we can see the oil level. So basically pour in a little bit less, dipstick to check it, and then add a bit more if you need it. It's much easier to add more than it is to take it out. So I'm going to put in what we think we need. I think we're not far off, so what I'm going to do is just let that oil run down into the bottom of the sump, get the dipstick and just try that. So clean it always first, put it in and lock it into position. It clicks into position, take it out, and there's the level there, which is where the oil is. So that's absolutely spot on. So that is good to go. So that's the oil in. And then the next thing we need is some petrol in this. We're using unleaded E10 fuel, and remember, always use fresh petrol. You don't want old stale petrol, as it will affect the running of the engine. So nice and fresh. So that goes in here, so we're just going to pour that carefully into there, and then the top firmly on. So we're fueled up, oil and petrol. So what we can do now is lift it down onto the grass, and I'll show you how to start the mower. So there we are, all assembled, and we'll start the engine in a minute and do some mowing, but just a few things beforehand. First of all, this is the grass collection box, and this fits on under this flap here, so it essentially hooks on there, and then the grass is blown into it. but you'll notice it comes with these protective covers on here. So they have to be taken off. If you don't take them off, you can't hook it on. It's as simple as that. So I'll put those in my pocket, and that simply hooks on like that, and then the flap goes down and holds it firmly in place. There's also a little red flap at the back, just here, and when the engine is running, that will flap up and down. That's because you've got an airflow and the grass is being blown into the collection box. When the box is full, that stops flapping. So that basically tells you it's time to empty it onto the compost heap or whatever you do. So that is that. The pull start is here. So to get the pull start into position, because we want it to be hooked onto there, we just pull in this red lever here and just gently pull that back, and that will then hook into position like that. So it means we can now start the mower from a standing position. And at the top of the handle, we've got two handles, two levers here. We've got the red one. So the red one needs to be pulled in to be able to start the mower. It won't start if you don't pull that in. And when you want to stop the mower, you just simply release it. And this one is self-propelled, which means it powers itself. So once you've got the engine running, if you then push this lever up to the handlebar, it will then move forward. So it's really, really easy to use. And then finally, before we start it, you'll notice here, there is a little primer. This is the primer button here, and we have to push that when the engine's cold 2 or 3 times. It just gets a little bit of the fuel through into the carburettor. So I'm going to pump that 3 times because the engine is cold, hasn't been started before, and then we can go. So it's red lever in, pull that to start it, and then when the engine's running, give it a few seconds, we can push this lever forward and off we mow. A little tip before we do start it, it will come with the deck, mowing deck, right down to the grass. So we don't want to scalp it, so I'm just going to lift that up a little bit. We can adjust it if we need to afterwards, but it stops the grass being scalped. So red lever in, pull, and away we go. So there you go, and to stop it we just release the red lever and it stops instantly, and that's it. Really, really easy to put together. Only took about 10 minutes to assemble it, and it makes a great job of mowing your lawn, so enjoy using it.
Remember to register your Cobra online at cobragarden.co.uk. Always have your Cobra serviced regularly. Check the website for your nearest dealer.